Hi, I'm your host Satwan, and welcome to this episode of The Payments Show. If you'd prefer to listen to this episode on your podcast app, simply visit thepayments.show in your web browser, and you'll get a list of all the episodes and links to Apple and Spotify. If you would like a PDF transcript of the episode, please visit thepaymentsshow.substack.com, where you'll be able to download it. Thanks, and enjoy the episode. Suri, welcome to The Payment Show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Satwan.
Where in the world are you joining from?
I'm joining you from Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Yeah.
I was there about 8 weeks ago for the first time. I've flown through Dubai many times, but never actually got off the plane. Enjoyed the nice food there and shopping in the Dubai Mall as well.
Yeah, Dubai is a great city. And I guess you were here in the summer, so I guess probably it was a little warm for you coming in from the UK, I guess. Yeah, that's where you're based.
Yes, I love the heat though. So I actually when I was in Dubai, I went to Oman after that, and that was 37 degrees when I was walking around in the daytime.
It's 45 here right now. So yeah, it is the summer. The summer in the Middle East is pretty warm, but again, Dubai is a great city, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to kick off and give you an introduction, and we'll get into it. So, Suri, you're the head of loyalty, CRM and data at ENOC, which is the Emirates national oil company. But you actually head up the yesrewards program, which allows customers to benefit from deals and offers across the many partner companies where it can be used at, so customers can earn points. So it would be great for you to give an overview of how the program links into the partners at a high level, and then we can talk about the details of payments and all the good stuff about the pros and cons of loyalty programs.
Well, it's been an interesting journey for us. We launched the program back in 2020. It was a time when there were no cars on the road. And I say this because it was one of the biggest challenges that we had as far as launching a loyalty program, especially for fuel was concerned. With your target audience sitting back at home on COVID in the air, that's when we actually launched the program. And it's been a very interesting journey since then. Well, we've got the core ENOC partners as part of the YES program, which of course one of the anchor product is fuel. We've got a convenience store brand that is Zoom, an automotive brand called Auto Pros, which typically engages customers, as far as car washes are concerned, oil change and servicing and all of that. And then very unique to Dubai, we've got something called Tashjeel, which is where you go and register your car annually. It's simply a service wherein you ensure that your car is roadworthy and it's good to be on the streets and drive around, right? So it's a health check that you do annually. These are the core ENOC brands. yesrewards came out of the basic concept of rewarding our customers for what they do every day, and that is fueling, and then of course driving our customers and rewarding them for the non-fuel business as well. So if you drive into our gas stations, the fact that we offer you a coffee in our convenience store, or a croissant while you drive on your way to work, or maybe you want to pick up a quick snack when you're going back home after the end of the day, at the end of the day after work. So that of course is the core proposition of the program, but we've gone far beyond that currently, and we now of course engage a fairly large population in the UAE. The program is now what I would call a mature rewards program. So we've got a co-branded credit card in the market. It's a fuel card. It was the first fuel card in the region as well. And we kind of alleviate the pain of our customers every time there's a fuel price rise. Fuel being a commodity, we are also, we are governed by different geographic events that happen all over the world. And we make sure that we kind of give back to our customers in the form of a thank you. It's a gratitude for the fact that they come and fuel with us and interact with our brands. So it's been a very, very interesting journey. It's been now 5 years. It's going to be 5 years for the program pretty soon.
Great. Well, I even looked at your work history in the past, and you used to work for Ogilvy in India.
Yes, I was bitten by the advertising bug for a while.
I follow them quite closely apart, especially their MD, Rory Sutherland, who I'm sure you're familiar with. And
so are you an advertising guy yourself?
No, but I came across his content when I was learning about behavioral economics, 6-7 years ago, and I'm sure you've read books like Freakonomics and things like that, and he sort of came on my radar through, I think, a YouTube recommendation, and been following him ever since, really.
I know Ogilvy. Ogilvy, I think, was one of I refer to it as one of the big turning points in my life as far as my marketing and brand and communications career kind of started out, and it taught me a lot. It was a great experience in Ogilvy. I was there for a short while, but it was an amazing stint.
Yeah, I can imagine they're a very, very respected company. Great stuff. So I'd love to talk about some of the challenges that are very common across loyalty programs, and how you are addressing them, or discussing how you've sort of overcome them to benefit your customers and your company. So I think the biggest one, especially in the Western world, is just saturation of apps, and really getting low engagement from customers is the first one. And the second one is, does it actually increase loyalty? So it'd be good for you to chat about those, because I think those two will be at the forefront of many people listening.
Well, app saturation, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, today, if you look at it, all our phones, they're probably, 20 plus, 30 plus applications on our phones. So yes, app saturation is very, very relevant, and it's true. And I think it impacts every loyalty program, because today apps have become one of the biggest channels of interaction with customers. I mean, there was a time when loyalty programs, had physical cards, and that time you were fighting for wallet share as to how many cards. And when I say wallet share, I literally mean physical space in the wallet as to where could you keep that loyalty card. Today, it's about space on the phone and how many times does your customer actually open your app. So it all boils down to relevance. How relevant are you in the customer's life? Do you actually give them something that they need, and do they see value in your program? And secondly, how are you able to engage them on a frequent basis? Because at the end of the day, in our category, and it's a plus and a minus. We're in a category which it's a commodity, it's a necessity, and if you drive, you've got to fuel, and if you fuel, chances are you are coming to one of our gas stations. And if you're coming to our gas stations, it makes sense for you to have our program, because we actually help you save, and we have considerable value in what we give to our customers. So one of the key things, and I'm going to kind of take it step by step. So one is, how do we engage customers? It's a simple word: relevance. Ensure that you give back to your customer an experience that he desires. Secondly, you talk to them about things that are relevant to them. I mean, if you drive, or if you interact with us in our convenience store, if you pick up your coffee every morning, then your offers are tailored to, give you, it'll be a coffee along with what you like. It could be a water, it could be a biscuit, or it could be a croissant, it could be, things like that. So data plays a very, very important role for us, because we don't want to, we're not a mass communicating company or program that just sends out mass mailers to everybody saying, hey, guess what, come down and here's an offer for you. No, we want to be as tailored as possible. And at the same time, you need to be as price efficient as well. Today Dubai is an expensive city. Customers do feel the pinch when, they in their daily lives, whether it's fuel or it's just convenience and grocery items every day. So, you need to be able to kind of show them that value, saying, hey, guess what? Here are ways you can actually save, and, engage them in really relevant offers within your, forecourt and your convenience store and the automotive business as well. So, for us, it's about creating a very seamless experience when they're in store. One of the key things that we talk about in the program is the fact that we are an instant earn and burn program. So we want to reward the customer instantly. It's instant gratification. It's not delayed gratification that you come today and, hey, guess what? We're going to give you something tomorrow. No. Come fuel with us, and guess what? Here's an offer for you to pick up maybe a discount on your next coffee as you walk into the convenience store, or maybe a discount on your car wash. We offer things like a subscription on your car wash, a subscription on your coffee, so which help you considerably save those, precious dirhams, dollars, whatever you want to call it, in your day-to-day transactions in life. And you can probably use that money in somewhere else, in things that you would, could be a holiday, or could be whatever you would, whatever you like to do. We've got a credit card in the market. We are looking at various third-party partners So create a better, more holistic experience as far as the program is concerned. Petrol may not be the most interesting category for an everyday person as far as shopping is concerned. You go to a gas station when your car needs fuel, and that's it. It's not a planned visit to a gas station. So you have to find ways to engage your customers and be relevant outside of your network as well. So while, of course, you want to be very, very strong in your offering within your gas stations, but outside, what else are you doing for them? How can you impact their lives? Are there benefits in your card, or have you got relevant partners which allow you to kind of earn and burn outside of your network? And those are ways you get your program to mean something to your customers. And again, at the same time, it ensures that you're profitable. So yeah, those are ways we try and work around our program to ensure that we're engaging enough.
You've got a credit card and you're looking for more partners. Am I right in assuming you mean you've got a credit card, but you're looking at more stores to be in the partner network, or you're looking for more credit card partners?
See, again, you've got a bank partner, but at the same time, you want to be probably looking at retail partners. You'd want to look at travel partners, and you would want to look at not just stores. I mean, retail is an example. Hospitality is a big example. Leisure is always an example, which works well with customers because, when you're not working, when you're not shopping, what else would you like to do? I mean, we see Dubai again has a very big, strong expat population, and even the local population. Everybody loves to travel these days. So guess what? Does it make sense to get an airline on board, or does it make sense to get hotels on board? And it also allows you to be more relevant outside of the UAE. That kind of gives you that little horizon to say, yes, our points today are probably applicable. You can earn and burn them for your next holiday. And of course, I mean, if you have a bank today, depending on what your strategy is, you could look at multiple cards in the market. But again, I guess it's more about bringing on the relevant partners where your customers interact on a daily basis a lot more, or at least aspire to kind of interact with. I guess that's more where your partnerships kind of sort of fall in line, and the way we look at it.
Excellent. I want to come back to a point you made earlier, which made me happy. You said you don't blast your customers with endless amounts of emails. Does that mean you offer intelligent notifications, maybe based on where they are? I mean, you mentioned that when they're in the station, they can get deals. Does that use GPS, or how does it work?
So yes, again, one of the advantages of mobile phones is the fact that you do have the option of sending notifications. Again, as far as notifications are concerned as well, we don't bombard customers with notifications. No, we are consciously not geo-targeting all the time because, then that is the difference between, I would say, a program where you do not have many physical site locations versus a petrol station. Now, in a city like Dubai, we may have about 200 sites. 200 gas stations. Now, if you start geo-targeting customers each time they're near a gas station or crossing a gas station, guess what? You're going to be bombarding them all over again. So we look at ways where we could, we understand typically what is the frequency at which a customer fuels his car. And there are different segments. There are some who actually fuel every day versus there are some who would probably be fueling with us once a week or once in 3 days or once, So there is that frequency that you have. And based on that, we also know what is it that you like as far as, maybe the convenience store is concerned. Or maybe you've never been to the convenience store. Have you ever washed your car with us? Because we have a really professional, car wash service within our network. And the fact is, you may not be aware of it. So we kind of look at different segments of customers, and then we kind of cross-promote accordingly. As far as email communication is concerned, I promise you, we don't want to send you more than one email per month. And that would ideally also include your point statement and your balance and so on and so forth. Because there's too much email fatigue. Again, being in the direct marketing world, you'd probably know, email open rates are dropping, click-throughs are dropping, and, you would typically open an email when if it's a holiday or a hotel or, or let's say luxury shopping and things like that, where they've got good visuals. But again, when you're looking at a life, everyday life program with fuel, it may not be the most engaging category as far as the email channel is concerned. And also, yeah, I think apps of today, notifications are far more effective.
Yeah. I even read last week that email marketers are trying to sell their newsletters, even though they might be successful, because of what you just said, that the open rates are declining. So yeah, offering discounts would be even less, I would assume. I delete most of mine.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, that's what we all do, but the fact is, we've got a very high open rate on our point statement because, again, it's a relevant emailer where you want to see what you've got. And we kind of try
cadence
to...
is correct.
Exactly. And we try to use that to tell you, hey, guess what? This is what we've got for the coming month. So, is there a new promotion coming up, or is there some new subscriptions that we've got going, and things like that. So instead of bombarding you with 50 offers, now guess what? One emailer, open it, the customer knows what he's getting. And if it's relevant to him, he's smart enough to come to you.
Yeah, great stuff. And what's been the results since the program was introduced? Because it's quite expensive to set up and maintain and roll out loyalty programs. It would be great to understand if you perhaps can talk about the results and how it's led to increases in sales or conversions or benefits that you didn't foresee.
So again, we're not a listed company, so I'm not at leisure to give you direct numbers and stuff like that. But yes, I can, at high level, what I can definitely tell you is the fact that our acquisition rate has been literally doubling every year, which is one sign that yes, customers like the program, they are signing up for it. Our active customer rate is fairly high again, and considering what I'm saying, that is, let's put it over a 50% active rate, and that is big because again, Dubai is a transient city, so not everybody living here ends up, is always based in Dubai. A lot of people travel out, people go back home. We have seen considerable growth in the program as far as numbers is concerned, and the contribution to sales has been great. So one of the big measures in the fuel industry is the cross shop, as to how many people do you actually get from the fuel, from your core product into the non-fuel business. And the non-fuel business is where you've got the margins. So what we do see is that the loyal customers and the program customers, the Yes Reward customers, tend to spend almost 30 to 40% more than the ones who are not on the program. And I think that itself is testimony enough to know that the program is doing its job. And that's why that was one of the reasons why we set up the program, to see, guess what, how many people can we move from the fuel business into the other services that we have. The card is doing fairly well. So the program, of course, you're right when you said setting up programs is no cheap, it's pretty expensive. And it was the same with us, but I think it was a wise decision when it was taken. We did spend a lot of money setting it up, but again, we broke even probably the second or third year, and now we're a profitable program. So we're a P&L, we are an independent business, so to say. We're not just a cost center that is surviving on marketing budgets to support our internal brands, but we contribute to the business and the group with our own budget targets and income that we bring into the table as well. So it's been a fairly profitable last 2 years for us.
That's great. And can you talk about designing the app? Like you said earlier, the app is almost a shop front now for pretty much most companies. Can you talk about how critical it was to get that UX and UI right? And you said you offer a lot of personalization. So can you talk a bit about how that was done? Because I'd imagine that's not simple. If you make a decent app, it's not.
It wasn't simple. I think it was. We've got Comark as our loyalty partners who kind of supported us along the way, and the app came out of a discussion, with Comark sitting out together and saying, what are we going to do about the customer face? And we said, all right, it's going to be an app. We didn't spend too much money on an app. The amount of money we spent on an app was surprising to many people when they heard that, and it was south of $100,000. Literally, I can tell you that. That's all that we spent, and it was a bit of a punt that we took to say that how do we get the UX and the UI right? Well, we had very, very young professionals from Comark who I think we made sure were below the age of 25, who we felt were the right audience for apps these days, because if you look at the generation who's actually on phones, these are people who've grown up using cell phones and interacting with technology more than any one of us. And we of course we researched which are the colors that should be the primary colors for the app, and what the first page should look like, or should it be an offers page, should it be your profile, or should it be your earning card, and so on and so forth. So we put down a lot of time into it to make sure that we did our best to ease earning and burning and interaction with the app. Is it the perfect app today? I guess not. We kind of learn as we go every day, but we constantly keep tracking where the customers spend time on the application, which are those sections that they click through. Do they interact with the offers? Do they actually see their point balance on the app? We pride ourselves on the fact that we have all receipts digitally stored on the app. So if a customer was to see, wanted his receipts pulled out right from 6 months ago, he can actually see all his transactions, track his spends, his products, and all of that, and you actually have a receipt on your phone. So it helps us with the vision of going digital and going green. So it's been a very interesting sort of a journey as far as app design was concerned. Of course, we got a couple of things wrong as well. Initially we said, hey, guess what? Let's try and allow the customer to store his images here, and let's do this and that and so on and so forth. But then you realize, hey, guess what? The app's going to become heavy. How do you optimize the size of the application? How do you make it efficient on all three variants, whether it's Android or it's Apple or it's the Huawei platform, which didn't exist at the time when we were designing the app. And now that has become one very, very relevant space as well, because Huawei's got a considerable footprint in the region. So
yeah, I noticed that in the mall. I didn't realize. So Huawei's got their own app platform, have they?
Yeah, they've got the Petals platform now, and I think a lot of app users today also adapt the Android version. But no, Huawei's got their own platform now.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up then. Got me intrigued. And did you do a lot of user testing as well before going live to make sure you're heading in the right direction?
Absolutely, Sapwan. I mean, we tested. We tested for almost a year. Sometimes we were just killing ourselves with over testing, because when it is the program team testing, many a times you start falling in love with your own product, and it's a very dangerous space to be. So we would not only test ourselves, but we were trying to get everyday users to come and see what they felt. Get people who didn't know anything about the program to actually look at the app and say, hey, guess what? Can you just navigate around it? Tell me what you feel. And I mean, we got positive feedback that we didn't like at times, and all of it. But it helped us kind of sort of streamline what we were trying to achieve. And that is, of course, let the customers see the offers that they get right up front. Don't complicate it. Keep it simple. And second, let them earn, let them burn, and let them sign up in a pretty seamless fashion to make sure that you address the core reason why that app exists. Because today you could get carried away with saying gamification and this and that, and there are so many things that are happening today that you may end up confusing the customer more than actually solving his core issue.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'd like to move on to differentiation in the market. So I don't know how big ENOC and associated companies are in the landscape in, say, the UAE, because you've got some great numbers. You said 50% of your customers are using the app. Growth is almost 2x every year, so fantastic numbers. So I wanted you to talk about where do you think the differentiation makes you more successful than perhaps your competitors?
Well, so I mean, today I think all our competitors have got a loyalty program, and I wouldn't, literally say what is, that core differentiator. But one of the key things that we've got before anybody else is a co-branded card. So we've got a financial product out. As far as the value back to the customer, or let's say the redemption value into our networks, I think I know for a fact that we are the strongest in terms of value given back to the consumer. So the two key things as far as the financial aspect of things, as part of the cashback or the reward for the consumer, I think that is something we made sure we get right. Because if the value is not strong enough, you can have the fanciest app and you can have the fanciest website, it doesn't matter. So those are one of the key things that we got right in the first place. And right from get-go, we've been a very, very generous program as far as rewards are concerned. Other than that, I think we'd be the first ones who've got subscriptions and all these different elements that into the program before anybody else has in the market. Again, does that really differentiate us? Of course, it does for the time being. But again, today technical capabilities are very, very easily, replaceable. And I mean, your competitors can bring that as quickly as you did. So, but it's important that at the end of the day, you club the program, one, with, of course, the right rewards, be relevant outside, and most importantly, be relevant in your gas stations. And I mean, again, I would say this, go beyond the program to give the customer a great experience when he interacts with you each time he comes into your stations to fuel with you, or come to your convenience stores or your automotive services. So that customer experience is as relevant, if not more, than just a rewards program.
Great. So we talked about quite a bit there. I wanted to ask, is there anything you really wanted to get across, in terms of the sales conversion or loyalty, that I've completely missed and you think it's important for you to get across?
Well, I think, as far as sales conversion and loyalty is concerned today, I think loyalty today has been overtly talked about, and everybody's talking about customer loyalty. Within Dubai, it's, in the last 3 or 5 years, I've seen so many programs coming up. And it's interesting one. It's a good sign as well, the fact that people now realize that it's important to reward customers, and the fact that customer centricity is coming right at the core of many businesses. But at the same time, customer loyalty, running a program doesn't cut it alone. It's the fact that you have a program that gives an X value back to the customer, or the fact that you're giving a discount each time your customer comes is not the true definition of a rewards program. You need to ensure that you engage your consumers constantly and you remain relevant to them. I feel like a parrot when I keep saying this every time. The fact that relevance is very, very critical, and engaging, spending money on your customer to acquire, to retain, to ensure he doesn't churn, what we call, there's no customer churn or reduced churn, is money well spent. So when you are planning these things and you're building your P&Ls and you're educating your internal teams around it, it is very critical that you factor these things as long-term investments. Loyalty is not something that is going to, it may give you a big financial impact immediately, but the true impacts of loyalty income is seen over the 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or even more.
Excellent. Thank you. So moving towards the end, I wanted to ask you if you could share anything coming up in the next 6 to 12 months that you could give maybe a sneak peek on, or what cool projects are you working on right now within the rewards program?
Well, okay, so a couple of things which I think just one of the things, of course, payments. I think that's one of the key things today, which is critical to us. Streamlining and making life as far as payments is concerned even more seamless. Than you've got so many different payment channels today. We want to ensure that we continue to evolve and kind of align loyalty and payments to make sure that the customer journey within the gas stations and the convenience stores is very, very seamless. And I was talking about it earlier, getting better lifestyle partners on board to kind of have the program become far more holistic and a lot more relevant and a lot more fun and engaging for our customers. So I think that's where we're headed, and that's where we're focused now.
Great stuff. So before I move on to the next point, I wanted to mention your website. So it's yesrewards.ae. That's your website?
That's our website.
And following on from what I just asked you, what do you see coming up in the loyalty space in the next sort of 6 to 12 months? Any cutting edge stuff that maybe listeners are not aware of?
I think the biggest revolution as far as whether it's loyalty or a lot of the direct marketing space is the use of machine learning and AI, and that's whether we're, I think, right now at a very early stage of people using the likes of ChatGPT and so on and so forth and OpenAI and whatever, but the true relevance of and the impacts of AI, especially with rewards program, is going to be felt in the coming, I wouldn't say 6 months, but in the coming years to come. I think as far as CRM practitioners are concerned, the ability to narrow down consumers, talk to them directly at at the drop of a hat, and channel better creative capabilities and better personalized campaigns. And the fact that you'd be able to kind of create automated offers far quicker than we can even imagine is where I think it all kind of comes together. And I mean, it may not be in the next 6 months, but it is definitely coming. And I think it's going to be a win-win both for consumers and for organizations.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, thanks so much, Suri. I want to finish on a light one. I always like to ask guests what they're reading or watching or listening to right now. Doesn't have to be business related.
Well, so yeah, listening to I've been listening to some podcasts on loyalty. I mean, that's more my morning drive to work. I listen to Paula Thomas. She's got Let's Talk Loyalty. She runs the loyalty podcast. So I try and I shuffle between music and loyalty. Sometimes it does get a little boring. And on the reading front, actually, you know what? I was reading this book on the Ukrainian and Russian conflict, which is the war, which is written about the president of Ukraine. So it's a very, very interesting, let's say, a biography on Zelensky, and I'm halfway through that at the moment. Pretty interesting kind of inside sneak peek on the country itself and what's going on currently.
Great. Well, I just finished reading a book by David Graeber called Bullshit Jobs. I don't know whether you've heard of it.
I haven't.
I put it off for quite a few years. It kept getting recommended to me on Amazon, but more recently, several people recommended it. So I finally thought I'd read it because I wasn't keen because I thought it would be one of those humor type of books. But it was the complete opposite, and how really the corporate world especially, but also government, there's just so many people doing jobs that are arguably not necessary. And it was a really interesting book where he talked about, what the 5 main categories of what the people doing those jobs think are BS, but the actual implications in society by having so many people disengaged and just not motivated to work. He treated it from a very research-based angle, and it's fascinating. So I'd recommend that if you're anyone managing teams.
Send me the name again, please.
Yeah. It's called Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber.
Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. All right, I'm going to get it.
Yeah. If you manage a team, it's really important.
I do.
Great.
So yes, thanks for the recommendations, Abba.
No problems. Thanks so much, Suri. It was great to have you on. I wish you all the best in future, and I'll leave all the links in the show notes for anyone who wants to get in touch with you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Ratan.
Thanks.
Glad to be on your show. Thank you.
Cheers.